Close your eyes. Forget how long you've tried. Forget the chase. Forget the fear. Sit still, because in this stillness, the power awakens. You were never meant to chase money. You were meant to remember that it chases you. The world has lied to you. It taught you to work harder, to struggle, to suffer for every penny. But the truth is far more simple. Reality is not outside of you, it is born within you. And if you can feel something internally, consistently, unshakably, then the outer world has no choice but to follow. You win millions not by toil, but by listening. Listening inward. Listening to the voice that says, it's already mine. Not someday, not with effort, now. Do you hear that voice? It's the sound of wealth that's already yours. Not something you're trying to create, but something you are remembering. You do not need permission. You do not need more time. What you need is to accept the unseen as real, to honor the invisible riches with your attention. When you sit in the quiet and feel the joy of already possessing it, you planted the seed, and it grows whether you watch it or not. Stop asking when, stop checking how. That is not your job. Your only task is to remain faithful to the feeling, to the state, to the inner conviction. You may think nothing is happening, but it is. Invisible arrangements are being made. Doors are opening where before there were only walls. Resources, opportunities, and unexpected channels are lining up to meet you, and all you did was listen. So today, stop trying, withdraw from the world, sit down, listen inward, imagine fully, feel deeply, accept completely. The millions you desire are not coming, they are here. Just listen. Your outer world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Everything you see, experience, and touch is a reflection of your inner state of being. This is the first truth you must accept if you are to win millions without lifting a single finger in desperation. The world does not respond to effort, it responds to consciousness. Your consciousness is the only cause. You may have been taught that action creates wealth, that hustle leads to abundance, and that only through grinding can you attain financial success. But observe closely. Many toil without reward, and many others, seemingly doing little, live in extraordinary wealth. Why? Because it is not the action that matters, it is the state from which the action springs. One who embodies the state of wealth will move to do only what aligns with that wealth. Wealth, one who feels poor within, will only attract more lack, no matter how hard they try. Your state of consciousness is your constant prayer to the universe. It is not your words, not your effort, but the feeling that you carry as your identity. If within you identify as someone who lacks, who hopes, who waits, then your world must reflect that identity. If instead you embody the consciousness of someone who already possesses wealth, who expects miracles, who feels the reality of abundance now, then your world has no choice but to yield to that feeling. You win millions by accepting that you already have them in consciousness, not pretending, not fantasizing, but truly feeling, knowing, and dwelling in the truth that you are already wealthy. When this is done correctly, something quiet but profound happens. Your actions become effortless, inspired. The right people show up, the right doors open, and it feels as though you didn't try at all, because you allowed. Trying is resistance. It says, I am not yet there. It implies lack. But allowing, embodying the state, says it's done. And what you assume as done must by law unfold. Your assumption, when held with inner conviction, compels the world to reflect it. This is not fantasy. It is how life works for those who know. Think of yourself not as someone who is striving for millions, but as someone who already has them. How would you feel? How would you wake up in the morning? How would you carry yourself? Would you worry about bills? Would you chase after opportunities? Or would you simply choose the ones that excite you? Step into that self now. Breathe like them, walk like them, think like them. Not to pretend, but to become. This is not about being delusional. It's about recognizing that the power was never outside you. The outer world is a shadow. The inner world is the light. Change the light, and the shadow must follow. You don't fix the mirror to see a new face. You change your expression. So change the expression of your inner world. Live in the consciousness of abundance, and the millions will not be a reward, they will be a reflection. You are not waiting for them, they are waiting for you to awaken. There is a hidden power that many overlook, a force so subtle and yet so commanding that it moves mountains without lifting a finger. That power is effortlessness. You have been conditioned to believe that results only come through hard work, that success is born out of struggle. But the truth is, the greatest transformations, the most miraculous manifestations, do not arise from strain, they emerge from assumption, from the quiet inner knowing that what you seek is already yours. Effort is often the language of doubt. It says, this is hard because it's not yet mine. But effortlessness is the language of belief. It says, this is easy because I know it is already done. When you assume something to be true and dwell in that truth calmly and naturally, without tension or worry, you activate a law far more powerful than brute force, the law of assumption. This law responds not to what you wish for with desperation, but to what you accept without resistance. You must understand that trying too hard is a confession. It exposes that within you you do not believe, and so the outer world listens to that inner confession and mirrors it back. You struggle because your belief is not yet firm. You reach because you still think you're lacking. But the moment you stop trying, something changes. When you drop the need, when you let go of effort and step into the ease of belief, you send out a different signal, a signal of ownership, of certainty, of calm possession, and the world bends to meet it. Effortlessness is not laziness. It is not passivity. It is alignment. When you are truly aligned with the desire, when you feel it, live it, breathe it internally, then the outer world begins to move with you, not against you. Actions may still occur, but they arise naturally, without resistance. They flow from within you like breath, not like burden. You are moved, not strained. You don't manifest by force. You manifest by identity. And once you assume the identity of the one who already has, your path clears itself. Life organizes around your state of being. People show up, ideas arrive, opportunities unfold, not because you fought for them, but because you finally became the version of yourself who attracts them. Imagine standing on a riverbank trying to push the river to flow faster. That's effort. That's how most people live, fighting the current, trying to manipulate the flow. But the one who knows the power of assumption simply steps into the stream and allows it to carry them. That is effortlessness. That is power. Everything you desire is already yours, in another dimension of consciousness. You do not need to force it into being. You only need to assume its presence so fully that the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. The assumption is the seed, and belief is the soil. In stillness, in confidence, in effortlessness, the seed takes root. So stop striving, stop wrestling with life. Let go of the urge to prove or to push. Begin instead to assume, quietly, naturally, as if it's the most normal thing in the world. Because when you do, you unlock the power that never needed effort to begin with. the power of effortless becoming. In the stillness of your mind, a quiet voice is always speaking. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention, but it shapes the whole of your life. This is the inner ear, the place where you listen not with the body, but with awareness. And what you hear in this silence, you live. What you accept inwardly, even without evidence, becomes the blueprint for your reality. This is why your inner conversations are so powerful. They are not merely thoughts. They are instructions, whispered commands that the outer world must obey. Most people live by reacting to what they see and hear outside. They allow the noise of the world to dictate what they believe is possible. But the wise person turns inward, listens differently, and hears what cannot yet be seen. They know that true creation begins not with action, but with silent agreement. What you agree to internally, you bring to life externally. You may not even notice the dialogue running within you, the quiet assumptions, the rehearsed fears, the imagined confrontations, but these are seeds, and they grow. If you constantly rehearse lack, fear, or doubt in your inner world, then do not be surprised when these very things appear in your outer life. Life listens to what you hear in your own silence. Life becomes what you assume in your heart. But there is a greater power, one that is always available to you. It is the power to listen anew, to turn your ear away from the noise of doubt and tune it toward the voice of possibility. What does your future self sound like? What are they saying? Can you hear the gratitude in their tone, the calm certainty in their words, the ease with which they speak of things you still call dreams? That voice exists now within you, and if you can hear it, truly hear it, your life must rise to match it. The key is not to fight your current reality. It is to listen beyond it. When you close your eyes and choose to hear a different outcome, when you carry on inner conversations where you are already successful, already loved, already abundant, something shifts. You are no longer waiting for the world to change. You are changing the world by what you are willing to hear within. Your inner ear hears the future because it creates it. This is the secret few understand. It is not about forcing the outer to bend. It is about persuading the inner to believe. And once the inner accepts it as real, the outer cannot resist. So take time every day to become still, to listen not to the past, not to your worries, but to the version of you who already has what you seek. Carry that conversation with you. Repeat it until it feels natural, until it feels inevitable, until it feels like truth. And when it does, you'll see it reflected everywhere. Because life is not echoing what you say with your mouth. It is echoing what you say in silence. Listen differently, and life will obey. To bring your desire into form, you must go beyond thinking. You must feel. Not in some distant future, not as a hope, not as a wish, but as an emotional reality already present within you. The truth is simple, yet profound. You do not create from logic. You create from emotion. The world does not respond to your words or plans. It responds to your state of being. And your state is shaped by how you feel. If you can live in the end emotion now, the world must mirror it back to you. So many people approach life with calculation. They measure, analyze, and strategize their way toward their goals. But the deepest manifestations do not come from calculation, they come from embodiment, from allowing yourself to fully feel the reality of your wish fulfilled before there is a single trace of it in the physical world. When you do this sincerely, the entire structure of reality bends to meet your assumption. Ask yourself, what would it feel like right now if you had already received the millions you desire? Not in fantasy, but in truth. How would your chest feel? Would there be a sense of relief, joy, gratitude? Would you move through life with more ease, more calm confidence, more playfulness? That feeling, that emotional atmosphere is your signal to the universe. It is not pretending, it is choosing to dwell emotionally in the end, even when the facts do not yet support it. Facts are not final, they are reflections of former states. Do not worship what your eyes show you. Instead, use your imagination to taste the unseen. Logic tells you to wait until it's real, but manifestation requires that you feel it real first. Emotion precedes form, always. When you live in the end emotion, you bypass resistance. You no longer beg or strive. You rest in the assurance that it is done. This rest is not passivity. It is power. It is knowing. It is an inner calm so solid that the outside world begins to shift just to stay in harmony with your inner stance. Think of yourself as a sculptor. The clay is your current life, and your hands are your emotional states. If you want to sculpt a new outcome, you must mold your emotions to match that desired shape. The moment you feel it is already yours, without needing proof, you have started the rearrangement. Life will respond, people will shift, ideas will emerge, coincidences will accelerate, not because you chased them, but because you aligned emotionally with the end. That feeling sends out an invisible thread that weaves itself through time and circumstance until what you felt becomes undeniable fact. So today, do not wait for something to change. Go there now, inwardly. Feel the joy of financial freedom, the excitement of abundance, the security of knowing it is already done. Let it rise in you as naturally as breath. Dwell there, stay there, not for a moment, but as your home. Live in the end emotion and watch as the world moves to match the truth you chose to feel first. Imagination is not a child's toy, nor a fleeting daydream. It is the creative force of reality itself. Everything you see in the outer world began in someone's imagination. The phone you hold, the house you live in, the life you lead, all of it was first imagined, first conceived in the unseen realm of thought and feeling. If you can see it inwardly, feel it deeply, and listen to it clearly within, then you already possess the seed of its manifestation. What you accept in imagination, without doubt or hesitation, is destined to unfold in time. Imagination is not fantasy. It is truth at a higher level. It is the invisible blueprint from which the visible world takes shape. The moment you construct a scene within your mind, one rich in sensory detail, one alive with emotion, and accept it as real, you begin to impress it upon the subconscious. And once the subconscious accepts it, the world must reorganize to express it. There is no power in idle wishing, but there is unlimited power in vivid emotional imagining. To merely hope is to place your desire far away. To imagine with conviction is to bring it close. To live from the end as though it were already yours. This is the secret most overlooked. You must not just think of your desire, you must think from it. You must dwell in the state of already having. Your imagination is the gateway to that state. It allows you to rehearse, to embody, to experience in advance. And once you have done so inwardly, you need not worry about how or when. The how belongs to the universe. Your role is only to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and remain loyal to that unseen reality, no matter what your senses may say. When you create an imagined scene, see it through your own eyes. Make it vivid. Where are you? Who is with you? What are you doing? What are you wearing? Most importantly, what do you feel? Because it is not the image alone, but the feeling it evokes, that imprints itself upon your future. You may say, but it's only in my mind. That is the greatest lie of all. The mind is the birthplace of worlds. Everything that exists was once invisible. Everything that now seems real was once only imagined. Your future is not coming to you from the outside, it is flowing through you from within. Each time you enter your imagination and walk in the reality of your desire, you step out of limitation. You bypass the logic of your current life. You override the facts that try to hold you back. In imagination, you are free. Free to create, free to feel, free to assume, and therefore free to manifest. So do not dismiss what you imagine. Treasure it, revisit it, enrich it. Let it become so familiar that it feels more real than your current surroundings. Let it be the state you return to in quiet moments, the place you go before sleep, the inner scene you live from rather than look toward. Because once you've accepted it in imagination, the journey is already complete. The rest is just the unfolding. You've walked through the gateway, the outer world will catch up. There is a force in stillness that the busy mind will never understand. While the world rushes and shouts and scrambles for control, the still one simply sits and commands. Not through effort, not through words, but through presence. A still mind does not chase outcomes. It becomes the center from which outcomes must arise. In that quiet, everything aligns. This is the secret. The quieter you become inside, the more clearly reality listens to you. Stillness is not the absence of thought, it is the absence of resistance. It is a calm inner knowing that does not argue, does not doubt, and does not strive. It accepts the end as done and rests there. The one who is still has already won, not by fighting, but by choosing not to fight. When you are still, you are no longer reacting to the world, you are creating from within it. You cannot command reality through noise. You cannot beg your way into abundance or worry yourself into peace. Those who carry anxiety in their hearts send out a signal of lack. But those who sit in quiet certainty, in the deep knowing that their desires are already theirs, shape the world around them. They do not need to convince. Their state of being is their instruction to life. There is immense power in simply being, in trusting without needing evidence, in relaxing into the truth that what you seek is already yours in the unseen, and stillness is the doorway that opens it into form. When you are still, you are not waiting, you are embodying. You are standing in the fulfillment, unmoved by what your senses report, because your inner eye sees clearly. Think of a calm lake. When its surface is undisturbed, it reflects the world perfectly. Your mind is the same. When it is still, it reflects the truth of your desire without distortion. But when it is disturbed by fear, by overthinking, by the need to control, it cannot mirror your wish clearly, and so manifestation delays. Stillness is alignment. It is when your inner world is not in conflict with itself. You are not thinking one thing and feeling another. You are not affirming with your words while doubting in your heart. You are simply in the knowing, the state of I am, where nothing more needs to be said. In that state, the world yields. You do not need to chase success. You need only to be still in the awareness that you already are successful. The outer conditions are only a shadow. The real substance is within. Sit in that truth. Let the noise pass. Let the doubts dissolve. Just listen. Just know. Just be. Do not underestimate the force of silence. It is not emptiness. It is power at rest. It is confidence without the need to speak. It is manifestation without struggle. Those who master stillness move mountains without lifting a hand, because they move them from within. So return to that quiet space within you often. Let it be your home. Let it guide your every step. For the one who is still inside does not ask the world to respond. They know it already has. The secret has never been in trying harder, but in turning inward. The millions you seek, the peace you crave, the life you desire, they are already yours in consciousness. You do not need to chase them, you need only to assume them, feel them, imagine them, and rest in the stillness of knowing they are done. Your reality is not shaped by effort, but by inner conviction. When you live in the end, remain still, and listen deeply, the world must follow the command of your inner state. All things are responding to who you are being within. Just listen, just feel, just be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And most of all, thank you for believing in the unseen power that lives within you.